Yes, indeed. The bans are going to be coming on out. We're expecting a Capital ban, Dev.
It's on the cards. It's been the most banned operator in the ANZ Pro League so far, but it looks like Jackal's going to be the first one, so that is one of those operators that does carry the smokes already banned out. If you ban out the Jackal as well, you're going to have to look elsewhere for that smoke utility. Sorry, you ban out the Capital as well. You have to look elsewhere for the smoke utility, but that would leave, your line and those on the board, as well as both hard breaches, and all of those are going to be on the board because it's Thatcher, in fact, that Mindfreak decided to ban.
So what, that's going to make us lean towards the teams are going to be looking right into this KE trick then?
Yeah, that's a cool, certainly could be an element in it. There you go. All right.
Throw it out the window.
So here, this tells us that Mindfreak wants to ban the Thatcher for a specific, defensive utility they want to keep, but it's not the KE. So maybe it's, a Pulse in Vault or some kind of, Maestro cameras or some utility like that.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. We've got Echo and Maestro both up on the board. Of course, an IQ would still be a decent counter to any Echoes hiding sneakily, but without a Thatcher, that is going to make some pushes considerably hard. But I think for the most part, a lot of it can be countered by just having a Maverick.
Yeah, it's a fair point. We do have all those hard breaches unlocked, so Maverick's a potential, but so is the Hibana and Thermite, and in fact it'll be those two that we see in this round from Mindfreak. A fairly versatile roster, two facets of hard breach, two facets of soft breach with the Sledge and Zephyr, as well as some grenades to boot, and that gadgetry and entry possibility out of Ippy style, so it's a good well-rounded lineup for Mindfreak.
Yeah, the thing is, right, we see on Bank so often that back and forth of having to Maverick open the hatches because Hibana's not up on the board. But yeah, no ban for her this time, so... And then, of course, I was thinking, with the Thatcher ban, teams are going to be Kaiding it, but then Kaid's off the board, so... this has been a very interesting ban phase, might I say, Dev.
Well, I guess let's talk about what the Thatcher ban will affect. And, in terms of Oddity's current lineup of operators that will be a little bit safer with that, EMP operator off the board. Namely, we've got the Mozzie, a great information denial operator with those pests. Denying entry from drones, or if the drone does go through, then, well, that's now an asset that the defense can utilize. But to me, I think a big key is the way that the Thatcher grenades can be used on this downstairs defense to mask the sound of the plant and also disrupt the cardiac sensor of the Pulse, who will likely be playing in the Gold Vault. So I feel like that's going to be a heavy element that Mindfreak are expecting will harm Oddity when they do switch over to the attack.
Well, look where God Legion's playing on that Mozzie. He's definitely done a lot of setup on the ground floor here. Plenty of pests around to also cut off any drones heading in to gather information around tellers and archives.
Yeah, Oddity did play this match just last night, I believe. It's Wednesday today, right? Yeah, so just last night in the Raleigh qualifier against Power Plays, and it was a close match, and they tried a variety of strategies on this particular bomb site, some with this kind of heavy roam, and it was a bit of a mixed success that we saw demonstrated, but in the end they managed to execute it perfectly.
Well, that is what we saw them do against Sinister as well, wasn't it? I believe the first round was a very heavy roam, and then the second time they were downstairs was a straight-up anchor. So this is that, playbook depth we were talking about, the tactical depth that Oddity display.
What? Are there 4 people at the bottom of these main stairs?
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to time something right. 2 of them are pieced out, though.
Yeah, it just makes you wonder, you've got so much information gathering on this Oddity roster, Pulse, Valkyrie, and the Mozzie, drones, the stolen drones. You could have some serious potential for a big flank, and I think Oddity are dreaming big with that.
Yeah, make the hunter become the hunted, as Todd's gonna pop his head up above the stairs, but nothing happening. Oh, look at that Valkyrie camera. That's a lot of information.
I guess you could telegraph a potential for Oddity playing more freely and going for this roam with the fact that they did ban the Jackal as well, something that a lot of players from Ranked would be familiar with, as it gets banned a lot in that game mode, but here in competitive we see it banned a lot less as a comfort ban. But nonetheless, Mindfreak very early on executing this plant.
Denial?
Where is the denial here? What?
A bit late, but Plant's going to go down.
There are so many C4s and so many options for denial. Was Vinny asleep at the wheel in here? I don't understand. There are kills going everywhere for Mindfreak. Oddity look completely lost. It'll be potentially a flawless first round here. Yes, indeed it is. What an attack strategy that I guess Oddity just were asleep for.
Yeah, well, as you said, there was all those players gathered up around the stairs, and Mindfreak were like, all right, well, site's open, let's go for the plant straight away. We're going to try and start wasting that utility, and none came.
So I guess that plant went down with about 1:10 on the clock. Was that really the issue for Oddity? They just weren't prepared for the plant to be attempted that early on.
Well, you were talking about that roam strategy, when really we saw them set up as if they went for roam, but everyone had gone back to site. Like, you know, that Mozzie that I thought was going to be roaming up and around, no, he's at the bottom of those main stairs, as you said. So just completely caught off guard there from Oddity, not really expecting the, well, blitzkrieg.
I assume it would have been for a retake strategy, which is what we saw potentially prepared on the main stairs, but the real thing that's got me scratching my head is Vinny was sitting in Vault with his pulse scanner out, looking directly at the planter. Why did he not call out that to the team? And like, it just looked like the team didn't know that that was happening. Did Vinny not have his scanner out?
I think Vast may not have been in position to start throwing out his smokes, and then there was no one else to start tossing out C4 nearby.
That's really not great.
Yeah, surely Vinny could have been able to run down there with his own C4.
Maybe there must have been a communication error there where Vinny either didn't call it or he did call it and no one else called it. They weren't able to do it, so Vinny didn't feel like he had to go and do it himself. This is just really puzzling because that's a huge oversight. That's not a minor oversight. That is a huge oversight. There's so much information gathering. There's the Thatcher is banned, so they couldn't have disrupted Vinny's pulse scanner. It's
when you plan for every eventuality, and the one you didn't plan for, which is the most obvious, comes to be about.
Yeah, well, you know, this bank basement often becomes a bit of a tug of war on the timer of, you know, the attack have to attempt this plant as early as possible so that they can waste all of the utility, which just takes time. You know, 3 gas babes, all these C4s, potential impact grenades. You have to waste that time. And, well, Mindfreak didn't have to waste any at all. Their first plant attempt was successful.
Yeah, well, we saw Jack Daddy gathering all that information. You know, I think that Mindfreak were able to go so quickly because they were able to tell that there was no roamers. Even with that Jackal off the board, which, you know, is obviously used to find any roamers, if any at all. Like, we saw Jack Daddy's placement at the top of the stairs. He was able to see how many people were going down and going up. Like, that's a very easy way to make sure that there's no roamers, if you can account for everyone to be down on site.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Excellent drone work from Mindfreak. Very time efficient. You can see it's just 1 minute done, and they've cleared the whole map. Start moving downstairs. Excellent time management overall from Mindfreak on that previous round, and they seem to be doing the same thing this time around. Very thorough, and Oddity haven't made a move to punish them for any kind of oversight just yet.
Yeah, Oddity are just allowing them to, you know, dictate the pace. No real pushback. It's like, all right, when you're going for the plant is when we're going to try and deny you. But if they can get there early enough, you've got nowhere near enough utility. Here we go.
Nice.
This time we're going to see Shaq downed. Was that the impacts?
Indeed it was. Vast with his impact grenades. Vinny throws out his C4 but doesn't detonate it just yet. Not sure whether King still has his grenades left, but he was above that red hatch. And okay, that C4's been spotted by Ippy Style. He has to peek around and shoot it. He does get that off, but Kings is still above that red hatch and can throw grenades at this default position. No, he's not actually. He's used all his grenades. That's a second set of impact grenades. This is a new meta coming out for plant denial.
Yeah, I really like this because there's none of that delay with like a C4 getting tossed on out. God Legion will find Kings elsewhere. Shaq very low. This is, you know, Mindfreak falling apart in this one, I think, Dev.
Excellent, excellent work so far for Oddity, redeeming themselves for that issue on the previous round, but Mindfreak still have 2 players at full HP, and Shaq lying in wait. Jack Daddy drops down the red hatch, but to his own demise. Looks like it's just Cutie left remaining, and Mindfreak won't have the same success 2 times in a row. A perfect round from them in the first round is returned by a perfect of Oddities. And there you have it, we're 1-1 apiece.
Is that 2 good right hooks from either team to start us off here, Dev? Oof, nice shot.
It really just goes to show that both of these teams can deliver a very high standard of the game. And both of these teams can make mistakes. You know, Oddity, we saw how good that defense was, but we also saw some serious issues in that first round. And, you know, the mark of a great team is one that can really immediately make good on their mistakes. And Oddity did just that. We'll have to see whether they can continue to pivot onto the alternative bomb sites.
So going back to those impact grenades to deny the plant, right? It's like an instant throwable, isn't it? You don't have to wait for the smoke grenade to go off, you can instantly punish them when they start going for the plant.
And there's no audio cue for it.
Yeah.
Like a C4, you hear the C4 being ripped, you hear the C4 in the air,
Yeah.
but no impact grenades. It's much faster than a C4. You can't shoot it out of the air like a C4.
And it does chunk damage immediately, unlike a smoke grenade.
That's right. Great job, and you notice that Oddity brought 2 operators with impact grenades last round. You know, adopting a smoke with impacts, when he's in a great position, that trajectory of the impact grenades is the exact same as it is for the smoke babes, so it's not difficult to learn that throw if you've already learnt it for the smokes. And then I guess the, who was the other operator with
They
the
took it on
impacts?
Mozzie instead of a C4.
Really?
So they're choosing to bring impacts instead of the C4.
That's crazy. You know, when you have a choice between impacts and C4, and you're specifically wanting it for Plantinal in that specific position, and you pick impact grenades. It's really telling. Oddity have certainly practiced that.
Yeah, I must say I'm very impressed with that, but new round, new day. What are they going to bring on this one, Dev?
Impact grenades again. We saw some good work in terms of the Plantinal, but what much more standard is this. Okay, so Red's bringing a C4 in a site where you typically impact trick.
Yes, well, it was
Over the top.
Vinny on the Mozzie last round, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And he's actually used both of his impact grenades, so it looks like we won't have any impact grenades to trick over the top. It'll be C4s instead, which can do the trick, in theory.
Look at Todd's position as well. He's trying to hide all the way down in offices here. With God Legion, of course.
I love that. The two, you know, we've got Oddity and Oddity down there hiding together, hoping they don't get droned.
Well, my guess is that those guys are down there for the plant denial. Like a C4 up through the floor.
Yep, Todd to potentially protect God Legion or go for a late flank. Will there be any C4 to deny this thermite charge? There will not. There may well be for the second thermite charge, but doesn't look like it thus far. And there you go, 2 thermite charges open the 2 key CEO walls.
Yeah, so we see the thermite go. So maybe this position is to deny up through the hatch. It's something we've seen before.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. And Todd's got himself very snug on top of that that filing cabinet, which may net him a better angle up through the hatch and into janitor's closet.
Yeah, it's right to the door,
Wow,
isn't it?
that's a very nice angle, and you'd very rarely see people coming around the corner to peek that.
So maybe God Legion's there to protect Todd in that position.
I guess it's just a bit versatile, isn't it? You know, God Legion is currently just to protect Todd, and when it comes down to the thick of their round, God Legion and Todd together could go for a double flank up one of the staircases, or they could simply use that C4 that God Legion has in his pocket to deny the plant.
Thing is, they do have to make themselves a path into Archives where Kings is right now. Looks like Shaq's going to push in to get ready for the plant. Are they going to be caught off guard here once again? No, here comes the C4.
Oh, no, it misses!
Nowhere near. Oh, Red, he's going to down the Zofia, finished off. Can he find Shaq? No, but Vinny is going to find Kings downstairs. So it is a 2-on-3 man advantage in Oddity's favour. There's Jack Daddy with the Claymore onto Todd, bringing us to a 2-on-2, but Shaq, he is so lit right now. Is he going to be able to survive this one?
It's a dangerous position, though, for the player on site. Shaq goes down, and now there's just the one player rappelling on the window. He could salvage this round, but it's difficult. Very stressful situation for him to cover, and 2 Oddity players will get the better of him, and they don't even have to jump out the windows. Vinny will clean that one up and allow God Legion to disable the diffuser. A great round from Oddity.
Great round, yes, but then again, they did let the plant go off with no denial once again.
Yes, and that was definitely too much of a risk for me, especially, once again, for the amount of information gathering that's being brought by Oddity. You know, we had, what, Valkyrie, Mozzie, Maestro. Was there even a pulse that round? I'm not sure.
No pulse.
No pulse. It was the castle instead. But, you know, that still is a, you know, trifecta of operators that really should be giving you that call much earlier that there is indeed a plant going down.
It's almost like Oddity are trying to be too clever here with some of their strats, isn't it, Dev? Like, it's
just a risk that I don't think is needed going for that retake. You know, they are very good at their retakes.
Yeah.
But you don't want to rely on that.
Well,
you want it to be a backup.
The fact that they let them be able to get into, like, open up the walls so easily, you'd think that they'd have a much better denial strategy.
As these rounds progress, we may well see Mindfreak adopt some slightly different tweaks to their attacks. They could prepare a little bit more for that retake scenario as they go for the plant, which could catch Oddity off guard. you know, it's Mindfreak are playing how they used to having to play. You know, you really invest a lot into just getting that plant down, because a lot of the time, getting that plant down means winning the round. But when it comes to Oddity and allowing this plant to get down on the ground and going for that retake, perhaps if Mindfreak makes some adaptations, they could completely catch Oddity off guard in that respect.
It's much more beneficial though, Dev, to stop the plant while it's in progress and have the other attackers have to scramble to try and get into that position, exposing themselves once again to you and your teammates, and you know exactly where the plant's going to be trying to come from.
Yeah, that's right.
Then going for a retake, like it's...
Yeah, I agree. You know, Oddity need to fix that up. You know, they need to be a little bit more prompt. Anyhow, we're heading down to Archives and Tellers for this defense for Oddity. Good angles being utilized on the top floor from Mindfreak.
Felt like that was very close there.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a scary moment running around bank as a defender. Start of the action phase when people are likely repelling on these west and northern windows. If you're on the top floor, you may well be a sitting duck. It's a lot of lobby presence so far. Mindfreak doing their due diligence on the top floor as well, but they'll be confronted with some Oddity players as they attempt to push in. We can see a minimum of 2.
Isn't this what we saw last week, where it was a very heavy presence upstairs, and I think it was Oddity just went straight for the plant and got it down against Sinister?
Yeah, it can be a dangerous position, though. We know Oddity are happy to go for these retakes. Mindfreak, I think, needs to dedicate evenly, and they started off well by taking down the captain of Oddity. Vast goes down. That's only a castle, though, not a huge amount of utility lost, really, just the gun. Not a great one at that, but the pressure is being felt upstairs, and a great job from Shaq pinching with his teammates to finish off Vinny. That's the Maestro, and everything's going the way of Mindfreak. Just 2 players left for Oddity.
Yeah, great scan from the drone to allow him to get that kill there. So 5 on 2. Jack Daddy has taken some damage, and same as Ippy style. But you got to say, Oddity are going to have to dig deep once again and try and get another clutch here to add to their clutch record.
A whole minute to go for Mindfreak. Good positions, and God Legion goes down. Just poor Todd left in a bit of a pinch. Does get 1 on the ground, but not finished off. And he has a lot of information to work with, but these shoulder peaks will bait him perfectly into Jack Daddy. A flawless round for Mindfreak.
What's that? 3 out of 4 rounds have been flawless now, Dev?
Exactly, and one of them was a very close 1 versus 2 retake. So tooth and nail between these 2 teams. You know, what was the expectation in that community vote?
60% to, what was it, 65, 15,
65 10? Or so to Mindfreak. I believe it was 15 on the draw, which is looking to be a serious possibility at this stage.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, I was saying Mindfreak lost the other day to power plays, which, is definitely not as good as Oddity here. So, I was kind of thinking that Oddity would have a very clear advantage here. But, as we said, it comes down to the day and whether the players are feeling it or not sometimes.
I do feel like Oddity, they have themselves to blame for some of these, mishaps. That first round, namely.
Yes.
I don't know what was going on there, but that's 1 round on the board, and you only lose 6, and then you forfeit the win, and the best you can do is a draw. And if you lose that 7th round, then you're going home with 0 points. And
interesting, different strategy here this time, Dev.
Yeah, this is the same thing that Oddity were doing last night in their match against power plays, rotating between multiple, defense strategies here on this downstairs bomb site. Something that Oddity have shown that they do enjoy doing. It's a little bit difficult to tell sometimes, where is the reason behind switching. Is there a specific team play style that you want to counter by switching to one? Or is it just, hey, that one didn't work, let's try this one? Or, hey, we think they know that strategy is what we do now, so let's change it.
Yeah, it's more of, I think you want to keep your opponents guessing and not being able to adapt quite to your strategy properly. But then, there's the thought of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then, of course, keep them guessing. They'll never know what we're exactly planning here.
That's right. We know Mindfreak pretty decent off the cuff. In that previous round on the Archives defense, Mindfreak just played fairly simply. Oddity fell into their hands.
Well, looks like they're taking this presence through lobby a lot slower.
I like this. Good drone setup. On account of that default camera being taken out, the defenders won't otherwise have any information in the lobby, but you can see God Legion does find a second drone with his protecting himself inside of the archives. He has some castle barricades to assist with that.
So yeah, I don't think Mindfreak were really expecting this much resistance up and around lobby now.
We've seen Mindfreak successfully clear the map 2 times in under a minute, and now that minute has passed, and still Oddity are clinging onto this roam. Think
so much info.
This could be the round to break this Mindfreak roam clear. If it gets too hot, Oddity can go downstairs as well.
Yeah, have they got the hatches open? Well, they've got God Legion patrolling these stairs at least.
Wow, the opening first 2 frags go the way of Oddity. Todd going big. Eventually, Vast is refragged, but 3 kills for Todd now. Just 2 left on the Mindfreak side, the 2 hard breaches, and this roam still very well established.
How has Shaq got himself into this position? This feels like it's in and behind the defensive lines. It is just the 2 hard breaches, so, you know, still a chance to execute here, but, you know, I think this might be a pretty unlikely round for Mindfreak to pick up. They have to dig deep themselves.
Oddity are just playing patient on the back of this. You can see there's a temptation to push forward when you're in such a man advantage, but it's the worst thing they could do right now. They're just tagging up the players and then hiding. You know, every second they waste is a second that Mindfreak will have to claim back from them, and Shaq starts a little bit of work, but he eventually falls, or his teammate falls, leaving him all alone in a 1 versus 3.
Yes, that's definitely confirmed no ace for Todd now, as that was Redolent's kill, so Shaq in the 1 of 3. Todd's very lit up. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw all of Oddity just go back to site now. Like, I'm actually surprised we still have 1 on the roam up here.
Well, Shaq's the one who has to take some initiative and make a move. He has to drop down one of these hatches, and the remaining Oddity player upstairs will be in a perfect position for this flank, and, you know, Shaq's just playing for the kills. Stuck in a Legion mine. Red wins the fight, and there we have it. Oddity get another defensive win downstairs.
Well, you know, that strat was very nice, although, of course, it was backed up by a Todd 3K to kick things off.
If only we'd seen that, we would have been able to understand, you know, was that just a little trick from Todd where he caught players off guard, or, you know, how tactical and reliable was that 3K?
One thing we did see was all that information in towards lobby, so, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what backed that, but, you know, kill feed up.
Yeah, we last saw it was God Legion roaming inside of the towers, and Todd was upstairs, and you could see how much information, of course, we had on the lobby side. As soon as the attackers started to pinch towards God downstairs, Todd had a field day on the flank. The top floor now.
Last round of the half.
And this was really the one that you were concerned, Monkey, about this plan denial, or lack thereof, from Oddity. Mindfreak were allowed to once again just go into the site and succeed on their first plan denial.
Sorry, what was that, Mindfreak?
Mindfreak, sorry, they were allowed to succeed on their first plant.
Yeah, I was like...
Not denial, pardon me. Same difference, right?
See, I thought that's what you meant, but then I was like, wait a minute, did I hear that wrong? But, yeah, you know, I was thinking, why aren't Oddity bringing in Echo? Like, you'd think that'd be a much better for denial, and I'm like, they've been running an IQ every round, and they've also been using it to great effect.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a great point. You know, I would say Echo would be exactly what Oddity needs right now to give themselves that extra second or two to confirm that plan denial. Because, you know, Echo obviously it doesn't kill the planter, it just makes him take longer to plant by forcing him to start over. But that could be exactly what Oddity needed to succeed on, you know, getting that perfectly timed peak or C4 or impact grenade or what have you. But a great point regarding the IQ. I think that would counter any attempt at bringing in Echo.
See those long-range Hibana charges to take down some of these castle barricades?
Well, if you don't need them elsewhere, why not?
Yeah, and also it's to do with that buff against the Jaeger, of course. So, you know, an Ash charge potential to get caught. Sophia, same deal. But Hibana, also great guns.
Yeah, I love a bit of the Type 89. We're getting some successful breaches onto the CEO walls now. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah, they're just keeping it very simple, aren't they? All right, take square stairs. No one square stairs. Nice. Let's go for the plant. Easy.
I think if Oddity do succeed a bit more on that plant denial, you know, downstairs maybe, and with the C4, God Legion has one in his pocket. That could make the difference. And even opening up the floor or just getting that C4 detonated, even if the explosion doesn't kill the planter, you'll have a perfect line of sight onto that default plant spot that Mindfreak seems so fond of.
Yeah, well, one thing they did last time is as soon as the thermite holes were opened up, we saw Shaq jump downstairs to start holding an angle into the archives. So I know we've got Cutie by the on the rappel actually. Looks like Style's going to be the one to go downstairs instead.
Yeah, you can see the attackers are doing their best to prevent this downstairs presence from Oddity.
And look how much slower Mindfreak are going this time. They don't. They know that shock and awe tactic might not work. And Cutie, he's in Banana, and he's also found Vast. Can he find a second?
No.
Yes, he's cleaned that up as Ippy Styles found Todd downstairs. God Legion will trade back onto Shaq, however, but this site is completely clear except for God Legion.
What an entry as well from Cutie. Doing a lot of work for Mindfreak. They have a significant player advantage and time in their favor, but that's ticking away by the second. They need to take the initiative. As we can see them slowly creep into the bomb site, into various areas. The two Oddity players to hold.
Ooh,
Perfect peek.
Nice trade though, however, by Red. He's going to down him. We heard the plant started, but Jack Daddy's thought better of it. Oh, that's a shot. Kings is going to go down. So this has gone from a 1-on-4 to a 1-on-2. Red also might be able to deny the plant. Yes, he will. Are we going to see another Oddity clutch here, Dev? 4 seconds, 3 seconds, the peak's gonna come on out. No! Cutie, big round from the man. He's going to find that final kill and save his team after opening it up so convincingly.
What a round from Cutie. Those first opening frags and then the work in the middle of the round just to come down to saving what would have been a terribly embarrassing clutch. Mindfreak looks pretty good there. Oddity slipping up again and again, and Mindfreak, you know, it comes down to these individual players stepping up as needed, and that round Cutie did put the team on his back.
You know, I feel like we might not be giving Mindfreak enough credit here.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair to say. You know, from the get-go, we've been saying that our expectations for Mindfreak are less than what they've proved in the past. And now they're stepping up again.
Do you think it's, you know, Mindfreak might be one of those teams where they play to their opponent's level?
I think that's such a hard thing to say. I don't even know how do you judge that, right?
Well, it seems like all their games are either games they can lose or can win, no matter who they're playing, right? Like, and it seems like it's like they're never heavily favoured, but you know the games they win, this is what they win, and you know, like they lost to power plays.
Yeah.
During Raleigh qualifiers.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like it comes down a little bit to play style. Mindfreak play really simple. They play the same kind of stuff, but there are opportunities when an individual player will step up and take some initiative. You know, last round, Mindfreak wouldn't have had as much success if Cutie hadn't made an entry into the bomb site, snuck on inside, and found those 2 essential picks.
Yeah, it's actually a bit crazy that he was able to rappel into Banana there.
It makes a huge amount of noise.
Yeah.
And usually the only way you can mask that noise is to spray with your weapon, and the gunfire, you know, masks the sound of the rappel, but doing that, you're going to leave the bullet trails everywhere, and the opponents are probably going to predict that you're either on the window, so they're going to pre-fire you, or that you're rappelling in, so they're going to pre-fire you.
So yeah, once again, there's like that hole in Oddity's defensive setup that Mindfreak have been able to find and exploit, but you know, that's another half to worry about right now as we are onto Oddity's turn to attack. Now, Mindfreak are bringing in Echo Dev.
Yeah, but on the other side, you know, Oddity's making really good time. That's 40 seconds into the round and the first hatch is open. That is very, very surprising. You know, I very rarely see that level of time efficiency, but time efficiency to that degree typically results in mistakes. And you know, as we saw, you mentioned the Echo. We see Mindfreak have that information on the square stairs with that Echo drone still up there. A lot of information from the Pulse as well. In fact, 4 information operators for Mindfreak. They'll be able to execute some very well thought out decisions based on that information when it comes to the late and the mid round.
These are some very strange Echo drone placements, aren't they?
Are they expecting a rear push from the vault hatch maybe? Is that why there's an Echo drone over there?
Both of them are upstairs, aren't they?
No, one's in vault.
Okay, one's involved, but the other one is, you know,
In the square stairs. I guess it could drop down very quickly into the server with the server hatch open.
Yeah, but that hasn't been opened.
Hasn't it? I think you might be right. It's a good point. Wow, look at how much barbed wire there is.
Spiky floor, that's what it is.
Fast wants to deny this key position in the garage.
I love this.
He's going to smoke it when he thinks the time is right, not do want to go for the plant. That's because the Maestro playing in garage will typically utilize that angle to shoot through onto the planter through those bars, but the time is delayed by Jack Daddy's gas onto the default plant spot.
Another one, here comes another denial. You know, they're going to play this game, but we know how it's going to end up. Jack Daddy's going to run out before the time has expired, so the C4s are going to be pre-ripped and ready to go, and then of course we've got some echo drones to come on down. So
Plus 2 C4.
Yeah, what Oddity really need is someone to hit these flanks hard when they're not expecting it.
This is looking really good for Mindfreak. I know that they've lost a lot of utility, but still in a good position in my opinion. That's a C4 shot out of the air, and the Capitao utility also being wasted away. That's all of it gone now. Oddity will have to rely on an entry, and God Legion's happy to take that. He takes down Shaq. The Echo player, that's a huge pick. They won't be able to deny using the Yokai any longer. Mindfreak needs to deny this plant. Oddity trying to force it down. It's Todd trying to make it play. Cutie wants to find the angle. He does eventually take out the plant, and that'll make the round for Mindfreak.
What a round from Mindfreak. And Oddity, you know, we spoke about how, you know, their tactical depth, that really looked uninspired there, Dev.
There was just not much going on to counter all of the different elements that Mindfreak were bringing to the table. You know, 2 C4, Maestro cameras, the 2 Yokais, the smokes, and the smokes were the thing that really challenged them the most, didn't they?
Yeah, well, I was going to say the only thing that they did differently, or, you know, that seemed new, was that smoke from the Capitao above. But even then, that was...
It didn't make the difference.
Yeah, it didn't make the difference at all. Like, it's...
The biggest problem there for Oddity was they lost their plant because the Maestro shot him from that angle that they were trying to counter with the smoke.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? Then they had to go deep into the site, and Cutie was able to deny it from a pretty safe and snug position.
Yeah, Oddity not really crossing all the T's and dotting the I's. Mindfreak, they just... I don't know what it is. It's really difficult to put your finger on. They always seem to be able to find that tiny little tag at the end that they can just grab onto and take hold of the round.
Yeah, like as I said, on their attack, they were poking and prodding, trying to find the weak spot. And, you know, on the defense, it's more of... That was a very turtle strat, wasn't it? It's like, you know, 45 seconds, open the hatch, no worries, we've got enough denial to last this whole time.
It's funny, really, because I was saying how Oddity, they were opening up the first hatch with 2 minutes and 20 on the clock. That's only 40 seconds down. They have so much time, and yet the smokes were still up until about 30 or 20 seconds left on the clock, at which point we still had C4s and Echo drones and the Maestro sitting in garage. I think that the biggest weakness for Oddity seems to be that they don't take enough initiative when, well, you know, Mindfreak are happy to just send a player in there and get him to get a kill or two. And Oddity struggle with that a lot more.
Yeah, so do you think it's more because they have this regimented style where no one wants to be the one to go and make the mistake, so to speak?
I think you might be right. That's definitely a part of it. Mindfreak have taken the lead now, and things are starting to look up. They are on the defense side as well, which in the current meta seems to be favored, and I think that, you know, I think the defense is pretty solid on this map.
Oh, fast opening up the angle from Stock, but
Oh,
Cutie!
no!
He's going to land that instead.
Excellent shot from Cutie,
Oh,
and
they
that's
had the info there as
the
well.
Capitao down. Once again, information doing so much work for Mindfreak. Kings does find one pick, but he's traded, which is the Maestro, so that's a lot of utility lost. But still, Mindfreak have the man advantage as a result.
You know, I think they're perfectly fine with that because they took down all the hard breach with that peak there, and looks like Cutie might be able to capitalize on this one as well. At the same time, God Legion has found Jack Daddy, but, you know, this information gathering and, you know, aggression from Mindfreak back at it has been great.
You can see the 2 remaining.
Oh.
What? No way! Cutie stepping up huge this game, and Vinny is the last man standing. 2 more to find. Using the SMG-11 in this close-range engagement, but Shaq's not going to let him get past. Mindfreak steal ahead with 2 rounds on their defense.
Cutie is stepping up this game, isn't he? He's had so many impactful rounds and frags.
And that's not something we'd typically see. You know, Cutie is quite a supportive player on their roster.
Yeah, but yeah, as I was saying, that peak from the Maestro, that should not have happened, and that took down their hard breacher trying to breach into the site. This was just an all-out aggression Mindfreak we saw.
And it's working perfectly against Oddity, falling back into their own shell at the moment.
Well, that's what I was thinking when we saw Oddity play Acme on the weekend, right? The mindless aggression we were seeing from Acme was just destroying them time and time again. Like, you know, as you said, they play regimented, you know, they're very strat heavy, but it seems like, you know, they're too focused on that. They can't worry about the randomness that comes from Siege sometimes.
Which is funny because, you know, some of those players on Oddity are those that you would expect to go for those, you know, crazy, aggressive, like mindless plays. Yeah. You know, God Legion and Todd, you know, they're crazy aggressive players who just go and, you know, the go frag and just go and do what you want. Yeah. You know, that kind of player. But I think maybe that environment is actually, as you mentioned, working against Oddity at the moment. That level of regimentation can prove to have strategic dominance, but in the end, if you're in a 3v5, there's only so far that you can get with strategy.
Yeah, that's true. So, 2 on the trot for Mindfreak on their defense. They are looking very strong. This is something we've seen Mindfreak this roster do for ages, isn't it?
Yeah, rotation from inside of the bomb site and archives into that admin office. So this bomb site was not successfully defended by Oddity.
It was a flawless, wasn't it?
Yeah. Mindfreak did very well on this attack. Not sure whether that's reflective of the bomb site itself or Oddity's skill on the bomb site, which may well translate into their attack. Difficult to say at this point, but for me, the most essential thing that we can look at here is just how on fire some of these Mindfreak players are. I think that's going to continue. Look at Cutie, 11.
You know, I was talking to him before this game. We're in a Discord chat with some other people. You know, I was talking to him how I had said that I think Oddity have got this one. He's like, the haters only make me play stronger. And, you know, I think I might have inspired you here, Dev. I might need to send an apology to the Oddity guys.
Still just to clear the top floor at the moment for Oddity. What they need to be most concerned about is Cutie playing this position with a little punch hole.
I think all they have to be concerned about is Cutie.
Well, apparently they'll have to worry about Kings as well because he'll take down one of the star fraggers of God Legion. Kings getting a second. That's both of the key fraggers for Oddity off the table, and Cutie and Kings still both allowed upstairs. Mindfreak looking to at least lock out the draw this round. King's in such a good position. He finds 3 kills. You should never have this to happen. It looks like we may well see another flawless round. Red wants to say something about it, but it's just a thermite left. He has a mountain to climb, and, well, I hope he brought his pick.
Nice. Well, no flawless round as he is going to find Cutie. So technically this is a 1-on-3 right now because Kings is down. Looks like Kings is going for a bit of information. Clean up there for Red. So 1-on-3. Are we going to see another clutch here, Dev, from the Oddity boys?
I don't know. We saw a lot last week against Sinister, but, you know, Mindfreak are no Sinister. And we've seen Oddity not be themselves in this game. Mindfreak seem to be on fire. It'd style already found a kill in this round. However, this could be the drop. Red finds another kill. 3 kills on the round. But eventually taken down by the shotgun. Mindfreak on 6 points now. They've guaranteed themselves the draw and are looking very, very good moving forward in this match.
I was sitting there with bated breath. I was like, he's going to do it, the mad lad. But not to be in the end. That smoke shotgun right in your face. You're dead. But as, you know, 100% defensive record so far for Mindfreak, so, you know, this might be all over Red Rover right now, Dev.
Is it just me, or does this feel like a really quick game? I know that we've seen 9 rounds. That's quite a lot of Rainbow, but this feels like a quick game.
There was a few rounds that ended really quickly, like, you know, particularly that last one. Like, what was it, still a minute on the clock at least?
What is it about Mindfreak that is really, you know, put them on the pedestal this round?
They do look really prepared for Oddity. Well,
do you think it's a playstyle preparation? Because it's not like, it's really easy to see when you're watching teams that play with, you know, I'm using quotation marks, strats, air quotes strats. You know, you have a lot of different strats. So you bring out the Monty strat or the or whatever. You know, you can see it. You bring out the Castle strat on defense. It's really easy to see when a team is specifically bringing something out to counter another team. But the way that Mindfreak are playing, you know, this just looks like Mindfreak are playing their game that they scrim and that they play.
yeah.
But individually, they are stepping up and they are getting themselves into positions and using that information from their teammates to make significant plays.
I want to say they're playing a very simple style, aren't they? They are, you know, just leveraging these information ops and just working off that. Gather information. All right, you got the information, go for that kill. Nice.
Yeah, and I think Cutie and Kings have both done their T-Hunt warm-ups tonight.
Yeah, they've both been on fire, haven't they?
This downstairs defense for Mindfreak looked indomitable as well. Oddity really were, you know, they had some cool ideas for how to counter the different aspects of the Mindfreak defense, but just look at that. Like, every single operator Mindfreak's bringing to the table has some form of plant denial.
Cover me. Reloading.
Oddity have made good time once again. 30 seconds in, and they've taken control of open area. Really good, you know, time management, but I just don't have faith that that will translate into baiting out that utility in the plant.
I think they need to do something else while they're going for the plant as well. Send someone down main stairs or something. Like, they need to leverage more control. Just the one-dimensional push is not quite working out with all that denial on the board.
I reckon just like drop God and Todd down a hatch and see what they can do. Something like that. You know, we need to see that X factor from Oddity that Mindfreak are bringing us round after round.
Here we go, 2 minutes on the clock and they are almost ready to go for the plant. Will be any moment now at least. All this flank watch drone set on up as well.
Thatcher banned out means Kings will continually be able to gather information for his team. Cutie, we've seen how confident he is on these peaks. He'll continue to do so from this long angle. A lot of utility Oddity have to counter some of these anchor positions, grenades and those incendiaries, but
Oddity just haven't started baiting out any of it either.
minute 20, this is really where you need to start baiting this out, you know? Smokes, C4s, echo drones, maestro cameras, starting to do the work, and there's a smoke gone down to deny that line of sight that Ippy Style wants to use. Flashbangs as well. But that's the first smoke gone out. You know, all that effort and utility from Oddity, and there's one gas babe.
Yeah, not quite enough just yet, is it? I really think they need to leverage some more control here. Looks like God might be the player to try and do that, as the plant is going to be started but stopped once again. No utility this time either. Here comes the C4 and the smoke. Todd will find Ippy Style. We're going to see the plant attempted once again. Very worried about the garage here.
Todd in garage could make a serious play, but Kings wants to get this denial going. The echo drones are still up. There is just so much that Mindfreak have going for them. That said, Todd's taking matters into his own hands. That's a missed C4, and Todd finds his second on the round. Plant going down, and looks like we might have a redemption for Oddity.
Yeah, is the fight back on, the comeback on? They've got to win 3 rounds. This one's looking like a shoe-in, but I don't want to speak too soon, as there still is 3 members up for Mindfreak.
It's a difficult position on the retake, but anything's possible. Shaq has the ACOG to take this long-range fight against Todd in the garage. He'll make the peak. He should have some information in lieu of that Maestro camera as well. Don't know if a teammate is on it. Peeking around the next corner, but Todd finds his 3rd on the round. 4th for Todd, just Kings remaining. Surely he wants to find this ace, and Todd with the ace to save the round for his team. Monkey, you mentioned that Oddity need to have some kind of push from another direction. I think Todd was listening.
Yeah, right through the garage, and he's going to line them all up and take them on down. 5 for Todd. And a flawless round as well, so, you know, you can't be more dominant than that.
Still, with the form that we saw of Oddity in the previous rounds, I'm not convinced we're going to see the draw. Mindfreak still looking very, very strong.
Yeah, they've got 2 more attempts at defense, and, you know, they're going to try this lockers once again, so...
I guess that you could say that the one thing that's made the round slip away for Mindfreak was the fact that Ippy Style died in garage. And if he hadn't, and he had killed Todd, or at least scared off Todd, then the round just wouldn't have gone the same way.
Yeah, that's pretty well just a heads-up gunfight, isn't it? 50-50.
You know what? Let's say if Mindfreak are now more prepared for that, what if Oddity spent, send 2 people into Garage to refrag? You know, what can Oddity do? You know, they can't guarantee that they're going to be able to win that fight again. There is a lot wrong with this take that just isn't going to be fixed by that one thing. Look at Fast, still struggling, 0 and 7.
At least he's got his 2 assists in there, otherwise he might be our new favourite secret agent.
I don't, yeah. But really, you know, Vast is the IGL and the captain, or actually, he's at least the captain. You know, he doesn't fully IGL anymore, but you know, is there any redemption for that donut, or I don't know, is that what's letting Oddity down? Because you know, looking at the rounds, I don't think it is.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. It really feels like when Oddity lose a round, it's because they're losing 3-4 people like in a row.
Yeah, it feels like Oddity, you know, winning as a team or losing as a team, except for that round we saw with Todd. Otherwise, you know, Mindfreak, we can very comfortably say, you know, what is the player who's making the big impact on each round?
Cutie.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah. So we have Style in Garage once again, as you said. Shaq is nearby, so I don't know. There's no real easy way to clear out this, is it? Like you kind of got to hope that the Maestro falls off the angle just as you sneak someone in behind.
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible a lot of the time against the Maestro, who's very aware of that push. I still reckon we could see some kind of hatch drop from Oddity, and it may well work. Looks like Todd's going to head down onto the Garage, see if he can accomplish the same thing he did the previous time. It's going to be a challenge, especially with it be Style more wary for it.
We've just seen so much anchorage on this bomb site, haven't we, Dev?
And it seems to work as well. Was that some... Wait.
Is that shot, maybe? Maestro camera?
I think... I'm not sure, but there was a thermite charge that definitely did not go off. Was that the one inside of the bomb site, inside of the A bomb site? Because if that hatch is still solid, that's a huge impact on the rest of the round.
Well, I think it was the default plant wall has not been blown up.
Maybe there was a Maestro in the servers. That would make a lot of sense.
That's what I'm thinking. Like we heard it start burning and then it stopped. So is this going to throw a spanner in the works for Oddity? I'm guessing yes, Dev.
Yeah, it should be hugely. That said, Todd has some good information on this Maestro. And let a teammate really to be on this drone to coordinate it, and because his drone won't be able to move after that occurs. Looks like they're
gonna go drop plant. Here we go.
It's a good strategy, difficult one to pull off, but Red starting this plant down. Cutie's going to go on inside, and he can't see the player anyway. He has to assume he's in the smoke, and he makes a perfect read. Finishes it off with the knife. Vinny caught off guard as well. Just God Legion left to save the game, but he goes down, and Mindfreak pick up the map #1 against Oddity Esports here on Bank.
Beautiful stuff there from Mindfreak, Dev. You know, they've proved the community vote right, and, you know, they've proved us as the naysayers wrong.
Yeah, now we're just going to look silly because, you know, the community vote was right and we were oh so wrong.
Oh,
well, I think that was an excellent game from Mindfreak. You know, fun fact, they started the night in the top of the standings and they're cementing their position up there.
You know, it seems like Cutie did take what I said to heart. You know, he was very upset about the way I voted and, whoops.
I think maybe that's what he really cared about, was just proving you wrong. I mean, you know, we all like to do it every now and then. Wow, what a game. That was an excellent showing from Mindfreak, and they've really redeemed themselves in a lot of people's eyes, I think. You know, we're talking